So starting the test drive in this 23 Ford Escape Active, the 1.5 liter certainly is not as punchy as the 2 liter turbo is, but it's still pretty good in terms of just driving around town and accelerating. It's pretty impressive. I haven't really put my foot into it, but I'm curious to see if this 1.5 turbo is actually better than the Equinox's 1.5 turbo, even though that engine has one additional cylinder. Because the Nissan Rogue has that 1.5 3-cylinder turbo, and that engine is a beast. I don't know how long it'll last, but it's fast. And you do have the help of a CVT with that too, but I like having a traditional 8-speed automatic transmission here. Now, I said this before about the Escapes. I reviewed a hybrid Platinum, I think, or maybe it wasn't a hybrid. But I reviewed a Platinum Escape, and I reviewed the ST Line Select, I believe. And the Escape is very impressive in the sense that it's very roomy in such a small package. Headroom here, several inches. I have the seat leaned back a little bit just to get a wider view, but hip space is pretty good again for this kind of vehicle. I have a pretty wide stature and my bottom fits on the seat. I'm not hanging over it at all. Probably got about an inch or two left if I needed it. And it's easy to drive. The visibility is good. You have blind spot monitor, so that helps. And the back window is pretty, I don't want to say it's big, but it's big enough that you can see out of. And it's a more of a minimalist interior. I don't want to say it's like a Tesla, but I like that the screen is here. And then all the other buttons are down below. They're not in my face. And with the screen not being as big, that just makes it even easier to see over here because I don't have a big screen right in front of me. But honestly, so far, I could live with a 1.5 liter 3-cylinder out of something like this. I like the turbo blow-off sound. I'm sure the sport mode is going to be more than enough power, but I'll test that out. I'm not going to floor it, but I'll give it a little something. And I mean, you're getting, I think, 27 city, 34 highway with this engine. So very impressive fuel economy. And again, it's just an easy vehicle if you do a lot of commuting, but you need space for, let's say, the 2 kids or whatever. You can do that. And the road noise is pretty minimal with these smaller wheels and tires. I should say the smaller wheels and beefier tires. Still pull here normal. So again, it's not necessarily meant to be fast, but it feels about as quick as the 1.5 in the Equinox. And I don't think you get the option. You can put in a low gear, but you don't really get a sport mode option in the Equinox. And yet I think this still gets better fuel economy. So we're gonna get on the interstate here, and we'll give it just a little pull. Yeah, this certainly feels more agile than the Equinox. I feel like the Equinox has it feels a little bigger, looks a little bigger, but I mean, this has about the same interior dimensions for room. And let me just say, this is, I don't want to say it's as crazy as that variable compression Turbo 3 from Nissan, but this feels, again, more peppy than that 1.5 turbo you get from GM. And ride quality is pretty spectacular, honestly. Just hearing a little bit of road noise here, but this is an older stretch of interstate. And again, this is a Ford Escape, so it's not necessarily the Lincoln variant. I would expect the sound acoustics to be a little bit better than that, but I mean, for a less than $31,000 vehicle, pretty impressed by everything in here. And with this to be, again, the 1.5 3-cylinder, I'm pleasantly surprised. And I think this is pretty competitive with the Equinox in terms of features, space, and definitely in terms of power, which is surprising. And I feel like it just hits a little better on the fuel economy side as well, due to only having 3 cylinders. But I think this is a great small SUV option. Very great. But this will bring me to the end of my review of this 2023 Ford Escape Active front-wheel drive.